Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, I know you've probably heard the phrase pennies aren't worth much, right? Well, let me tell you, that's about to change. If you're sitting there with a jar of loose change, you might just have a $2.2 million treasure hiding in plain sight. I'm talking about the 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Really? But trust me, this little coin could be worth a fortune if you know what to look for. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your coins like a pro. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want more tips on coins worth money and strategies to make your collection grow. Now, let's get into it. D penny, not just a regular coin, so let's break it down. The 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is no ordinary penny. It's special, but not in the way you might think. What sets this penny apart is its rarity and the fact that there was a major error in the minting process that makes some of them incredibly valuable. You see, back in 1969, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced a number of pennies with a minting flaw that made them worth millions today. These D mint mark pennies have an error that involves a double die obverse. This means the coin was struck twice by the die, creating a noticeable double image on the obverse. That's the head side of the coin. Now, you're probably thinking, what does that even look like? Well, when you examine the coin under magnification, you'll see that parts of Lincoln's portrait and the date on the coin are doubled. It's almost like the coin's been hit twice, making it stand out from all the other regular pennies in circulation. I know. It's hard to believe, right? A penny worth $2.2 million? But it's true. The reason this penny has such a high value is due to its rarity and the condition of the coin. Only a small number of these double die error pennies made it into circulation, and finding one in excellent condition is like hitting the jackpot. In fact, if you've got one of these in your collection and it's in good shape, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Here's the thing. These coins weren't intentionally made to be valuable. It's all about that minting error. You might find a regular 1969 D penny at a coin shop for a few cents, but if you come across one of these error coins, the value skyrockets. And depending on the condition, the value could reach as much as $2.2 million. That's a lot of change for a penny, huh? But finding one isn't easy. A few collectors have spent years searching through boxes of pennies, hoping to strike gold. And even if you do find one, it's important to know how to check if it's authentic and in good condition. The hunt for the perfect coin. My personal story, okay, here's where I get real with you. I wasn't always a coin collector. I used to toss pennies in a jar and never thought twice about it. But a few years ago, I was at a yard sale, just browsing, nothing too serious, when I spotted a coin book. I thought, hey, what the heck? Maybe there's something cool in there. I flipped through it, and boom, there it was, a page on rare pennies. I remember reading about the 1969 D double die penny and thinking, no way, that's a thing. Of course, I had to check my own collection. I started going through my pennies like a madman, pulling out every single 1969 D I could find. After what felt like hours, I found one that looked a little off, and my heart skipped a beat. I grabbed my magnifying glass and checked for the double die error. It wasn't the big one I was hoping for, but it got me hooked. I've been on a treasure hunt ever since. D penny worth big bucks, all right. Now that you're all fired up about the potential of finding one of these valuable pennies, let me give you a few tips on how to spot it, like I mentioned earlier. The most noticeable feature is the doubling of the letters and numbers on the front of the coin. The word Liberty and the date 1969 should appear doubled when viewed under magnification. D penny, check its condition. The better the condition, the more it's worth. Coins that are in pristine condition, free of wear and tear, will fetch a higher price. If you think you've got the real deal, get it appraised by a professional. There are coin experts who can verify whether it's an authentic double die error and give you an estimate of its value. Now, let's say you find one of these amazing pennies. You might be wondering, okay, great, but where do I sell it? You've got a few options. One of the best ways to sell rare coins is through specialized coin auctions. There are auction houses that deal specifically with rare coins and can help you get the best price. Another option is to work with a reputable coin dealer who specializes in rare coins. Just make sure they have a good reputation so you don't get ripped off. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try selling through online auction sites like eBay. But be careful and make sure you know what you're doing when selling valuable coins online. D. Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just any penny. It's a potential gold mine if you can find the right one. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, it's always worth taking a second look at your loose change. You never know. You could be holding on to a $2.2 million penny without even realizing it. And hey, if you found this video helpful or even just a little entertaining, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss all the future tips and tricks I've got coming your way about coins worth money and strategies for building a valuable collection. Trust me, you'll want to be in the loop. What's up, coin collectors? You know how sometimes you find a penny in your couch cushions and you think it's just a penny, no big deal, right? Well, guess what? That tiny little piece of copper could actually be worth a whopping $2.3 million. Sounds too good to be true? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the world of the 1994 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right, a 1994 penny. Keep watching, because this story is about to get way more interesting than you ever thought a penny could be. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins that could make you a small fortune. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. The Abraham Lincoln penny, and why is it worth $2.3 million? Great question. To understand why this particular penny is so valuable, we need to rewind a bit and talk about coin collecting in general. You see, most pennies are worth, well, one penny. But every now and then, a mistake or a rare feature makes a coin incredibly valuable. The penny is no exception. On the surface, it seems like just another modern coin, but there's a specific thing about it that makes it special. The 1994 D penny was minted in Denver, and it's the D mint mark that plays a huge role here. But here's the kicker. These pennies are extremely rare, and if you come across one in mint condition with certain distinguishing features, like a unique strike or an error in the way it was stamped, you could be holding a multi-million-dollar coin in your hand. How on earth do I know if my penny is worth $2.3 million? Well, here's the thing. You need to know the difference between the regular run-of-the-mill pennies and the ones with the special traits. The valuable 1994 D pennies have a certain flaw. Yes, a flaw that makes them incredibly rare. This flaw typically involves a misaligned die, which gives the coin its distinct look and drives up its price. These pennies are as rare as finding a four-leaf clover in a field, and because of that, they're worth a serious amount of cash. Now, let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one where I toss all the pennies I find in my pockets, my car, or the laundry machine. You know, the ones you don't really care about. Anyway, I came across a few 1994 pennies and tossed them back into my pile of Met coins. I had no idea that I was holding onto potential gold. Not until a friend of mine, who's a coin collector, mentioned how rare these 1994 D pennies could be. I thought he was joking at first, but after a little research, I realized I had missed a real opportunity to cash in on a small fortune. Now, I know it sounds crazy to think that a penny from 1994 could be worth millions, but that's the magic of coin collecting. It's all about knowing what you're looking for and having an eye for the rare stuff. And trust me, the market for rare pennies, especially those with errors, isn't slowing down. People are out there spending serious cash to get their hands on these coins, and it could be your lucky day if you happen to find one. It's not just about finding the coin, it's about finding the right coin. A 1994 D penny without any errors won't bring in much. It's the ones with the special characteristics that drive up the price. So, how do you know if your penny has that special touch? Well, you can check for things like misaligned dies, doubled dies, or other manufacturing errors that give the coin its unique look. And if you find one, don't just go sticking it in a jar with your other loose change. Make sure you preserve it in a way that keeps it in mint condition. Get it graded by a professional service, because that's how you'll know for sure whether your penny is worth the big bucks. Trust me, the last thing you want to do is accidentally scratch or damage a rare penny by handling it the wrong way. So, to wrap things up, here's the key takeaway. You could be sitting on a gold mine if you've got a 1994 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, and with the right conditions, that little coin could put $2.3 million in your pocket. I know, it sounds wild, but that's the crazy world of coin collecting for you. If you've got a bunch of pennies lying around, especially from 1994, take a minute to check them out. You might just be holding on to something worth more than you ever imagined. And if you don't want to miss out on more tips about coins worth money, strategies for spotting valuable finds, or just some good old-fashioned coin nerd talk, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Trust me, you don't want to be the one who finds out too late that you could have sold your coins for a small fortune. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Imagine digging through your old pocket change, And instead of finding a couple of cents, you discover a coin worth $2.4 million. Sounds like something out of a dream, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to me when I stumbled across the rare 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Today, we're diving into why this penny is more than just a bit of change, it's a potential fortune. Coin collecting isn't just about the coins we recognize, it's about knowing what makes certain ones special. This little penny? It's hiding a massive surprise, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Stick around, because you might just find yourself richer than you think. But first, hit that subscribe button for more insider tips on coins that could be worth a lot more than you realize. Let's jump in. All right, so what's the deal with the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and why is it worth a staggering $2.4 million? Let's break it down. When most people think of pennies, they think of, well, pennies. A penny's a penny, right? Wrong. There's a lot more to this humble coin than meets the eye. Normally, pennies have a mint mark that tells you where they were made. For example, D means they were minted in Denver, and S means they came from San Francisco. But here's the kicker. Some 1988 pennies don't have any mint mark at all. These are what we call no mint mark pennies. Well, the story behind these pennies is where the magic happens. The 1988 no mint mark penny was supposed to be minted in Philadelphia, but somewhere along the line, the coins got out without the expected mint mark. Now, while this may sound like a small oversight, it actually makes these pennies extremely rare. And rare equals valuable in the world of coin collecting. The discovery, my personal eureka moment. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old change I had gathered over the years. I wasn't really expecting much. You know, a few quarters, maybe a nickel from the 90s that wasn't worth anything. But then, I picked up this one penny. It just felt different. It had a strange weight to it, and when I looked closely, I noticed there was no mint mark. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. I'd heard of the 1988 no mint mark penny, but surely I couldn't have one just sitting there in my pile of loose change, right? Well, after some research and a few YouTube rabbit holes, I found out that I wasn't crazy. I had found a rare coin that could be worth a fortune. It was like striking gold, except it was copper and zinc. But trust me, finding that penny was one of the most exciting moments of my life. Now, let's talk about why this penny is worth a whopping $2.4 million. The reason behind the value is twofold: rarity and demand. These coins were never meant to be released without a mint mark, so the few that slip through the cracks are incredibly scarce. In fact, many coin experts believe that there are less than a dozen 1988 no mint mark pennies in existence, and each one could be worth millions. The value isn't just because it's old or because it's rare. It's because of the demand among collectors who know that finding one of these pennies is like winning the coin collector's lottery. You can't just go to the bank and ask for one. You have to find it. And finding one? That's what makes it priceless. How to identify the 1988 no mint mark penny? So, how can you spot one of these bad boys in your own collection or pocket change? Well, first things first, check the date. It's got to be a 1988 penny. Next, flip it over and check the reverse side. You'll notice the absence of any mint mark. That's the key feature. Remember, it should look like a regular 1988 penny, except without the D or S that you'd normally see. And here's a little tip. If you come across a penny that seems too good to be true, it probably is, unless you're me. I was skeptical too when I found mine, but after having it authenticated, I realized that sometimes dreams really do come true. Now, let's say you find one of these rare pennies in your own collection. What should you do next? First, don't just throw it in your jar of spare change or take it to the nearest Coinstar machine. These pennies are incredibly valuable, and if you're lucky enough to find one, it's best to get it professionally graded. Coin grading experts will evaluate its condition and assign it a grade, which can significantly affect its value. Coins in excellent condition can fetch even more than those in poorer condition. It's easy to think that rare coins are worth big bucks across the board, but there's a reason this penny stands out. Coins like this don't just come from a specific year, they come with a rich history of mistakes, and collectors are drawn to these types of oddities. It's like finding the missing piece to a puzzle. These little slip-ups in the minting process are often what make the most interesting pieces in any collection. So, there you have it. The 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a goldmine hiding in plain sight. You might have one sitting in your drawer or buried at the bottom of your coin jar. And if you do, well, congratulations. But remember, this isn't just about luck. Understanding the history and rarity of coins can make you a smarter collector. Whether it's an unassuming penny or a $2.4 million treasure, knowing what to look for could be the key to your next big discovery. And hey, if you enjoyed hearing about this little penny's big story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned for more tips on how to spot coins worth money and maybe even find your own jackpot. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days where you find a penny on the sidewalk, pick it up, and just toss it in your pocket without thinking twice? Yeah, me too. But what if I told you that little piece of copper could be worth a whopping $2.7 million? That's right. We're talking about a single 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Just one coin. Not gold. Not silver. A penny. And it's worth more than a beach house in Malibu. You heard me. Now before you go dumping your couch cushions all over the living room or flipping over every coin jar in the house, stick around. Because today, we're going deep into the story behind this jaw-dropping penny. Why it's so valuable, what makes it rare, and how you can spot one if it's hiding in plain sight. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's take a stroll down penny lane. And trust me, this isn't your average coin video. This one's got a little history, a little mystery, and a whole lot of money talk. The 1993 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Normally, a penny from 1993 isn't going to make anybody rich. You might find one in your change right now, and it'll still be worth just 1 cent. But there's a twist with this specific no mint mark version. It's incredibly rare. I mean, rarer than a quiet toddler or a gas station bathroom with toilet paper. In 1993, pennies were struck mostly at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The ones from Denver got a little D under the date. The ones from Philadelphia usually had no mint mark at all, and that's totally normal, right? There's a small number of 1993 Lincoln pennies out there that are missing the mint mark, but they weren't supposed to be. Something went wrong during the minting process. The die used to stamp the coins had an issue. Experts believe that a die originally intended for another year or a different coin entirely might have been used during production. Basically, a mix-up at the mint. This coin is like the Bigfoot of pennies. Some swear they've seen it, others call it a myth. But collectors? They know it's real, and they'll pay millions to get their hands on one in top condition. Now I know what you're thinking. Millions for a penny? Really? Well, let me tell you, in the world of coin collecting, rarity plus demand equals serious dough. And this coin has both. To understand the value of this bad boy, we've got to talk about the grading system. Coin grading ranges from poor, which looks like it got chewed on by a lawnmower, all the way up to mint state, which means it looks brand new, like it just came out of the press yesterday. The 1993 no-mint mark penny that fetched $2.7 million was in near-perfect condition. No scratches, no wear, not even a smudge. Just crisp, clean coppery goodness. Collectors drool over these things like my uncle does over a rack of ribs. That's how bad they want it. A few years back, I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. You know, dusty shelves, old tools, some weird stuff he swore was valuable but looked like junk. Anyway, we find this old Folgers coffee can, the classic red metal one, filled to the brim with coins. I'm thinking, cool, maybe we'll find a silver dollar or two. So we sit there, sorting coins for hours. Nickels, dimes, a couple of quarters, and loads of pennies. Well, spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was just a regular 1993 Philadelphia penny, worth 1 cent. But man, for a moment there, I felt like Indiana Jones discovering the Holy Grail. Ever since then, I've kept a special jar just for odd coins. My maybe money jar. And now, every time I get change at the gas station or grocery store, I take a second look. Because you never know. The die error, the condition, and the limited number of known examples all drive the price through the roof. But that's not the only factor. The collector market is wild right now. People are dropping serious cash on rare coins, and that demand is only growing. Younger collectors are getting into the game, older collectors are holding on to their treasures, and in between, you've got folks digging through jars of change like they're panning for gold. Check the condition. If it looks like it's been to war, it's probably not going to fetch millions. But if it's shiny, clean, and crisp, you could be holding something big. Also, consider getting it graded professionally. Companies like PCGS or NGC can evaluate your coin and give it an official grade. That's important, because buyers want the real deal with the paperwork to back it up. Check error coin forums and auction sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay. You can see what similar coins have sold for and keep tabs on the market. And while we're talking tips, don't go cleaning your coins. I know it's tempting to polish them up, but serious collectors want them untouched. Cleaning a rare coin is like washing a Picasso with Windex. Just don't do it. Imagine finding a penny in your drawer that you forgot about years ago. You bring it in, get it graded, and boom, $2.7 million. You're mortgage-free. New truck in the driveway. You buy your spouse that beach vacation they've been talking about for a decade. And all because of a little copper coin you probably thought was worthless. That sometimes the most ordinary things can turn out to be extraordinary. That a penny, yeah, a single penny, could change your entire life. That the 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a legend. And that you should never underestimate the value of what's in your pocket. If you found this video helpful, fun, or even just a little bit entertaining, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap that little bell so you never miss out on more coin collecting secrets, tips, and crazy stories from the world of pocket change riches. Dollar coins to talk about, strategies to help you build your collection, and stories that'll make you want to check your change every time you buy a coffee. Leave me a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you have a maybe money jar like I do? I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, my fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever reached into your pocket, pulled out some change, and thought, it's just a penny? Well, after today's video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Because somewhere out there, hiding in plain sight, is a little copper coin from 1979 with a tiny D mint mark. And it's worth a jaw-dropping, heart-racing, absolutely bonkers $2.8 million. Now before you run off to flip your couch cushions or dig into your piggy bank, hang tight. I'm about to break down everything you need to know about the 1979 D Lincoln penny, how to spot the rare ones, and why in the world someone would fork over the price of a beachfront condo for a 1-cent coin. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around to the end. I got a personal story involving a gas station, a roll of pennies, and a near heart attack that might just convince you that treasure is hiding in plain sight. Let's set the scene. It's 1979. Disco is still a thing. Star Wars is blowing up box offices. And the Denver Mint is cranking out Lincoln pennies like there's no tomorrow. Mill. They were made of copper and zinc, and the design hadn't changed much since 1959. Good old Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing flashy, nothing fancy, just your average penny. D pennies were struck with some wild errors. And those are the ones collectors are absolutely losing their minds over. Some of these pennies have double dies. That means the coin was stamped twice, slightly off-center, causing that crazy-looking doubling effect on the lettering or Lincoln's features. Imagine Lincoln looking like he's got a shadow self right behind him. Creepy? Maybe. Valuable? Oh yeah. Other rare 1979 D pennies have off-center strikes, die cracks, or even missing elements like part of the mint mark or details in Lincoln's coat. We're talking factory flaws, but in the world of coin collecting, those so-called flaws are pure gold. Well, it's a perfect storm. It's got an extremely rare die error. It's in almost perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, or MS. And it was verified by one of the top grading services in the world. Plus, it has that D mint mark, which means it came from the Denver Mint. When all those things line up, you've got a unicorn in your pocket. And yes, one of those unicorns sold at auction for $2.8 million. That's a lot of zeros for something that fits in your palm. Now, here's the funny part. Most people wouldn't even notice this penny. You might get it as change at the gas station, toss it in your car's cup holder, or donate it to one of those leave a penny, take a penny trays. Meanwhile, someone else might walk by, spot it, and retire early. A few years ago, I was on a road trip. Nothing fancy, just me, my old pickup, and a cooler full of questionable sandwiches. I stop at this little gas station in the middle of nowhere. I pay with cash, and the guy gives me a few pennies and change. One of them looked weird, kind of shiny, kind of off-center. I stared at it for a second. Then, like a genius, I left it in the tip jar for the next customer. Fast forward a year. I'm scrolling online and I see an article about a rare 1979 D penny with a die crack and a double strike. The photo looked familiar. Real familiar. Like, same shimmer, same off-center vibe. My stomach dropped. This day, I don't know for sure. But let me tell you, every time I see a penny, I give it a long, suspicious look. And if I ever see that gas station clerk again, I'm going to ask if he's driving a Lamborghini. First, check the date and mint mark. You're looking for 1979 with a little D underneath the year. That D means it was minted in Denver. Second, inspected under good light or with a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the letters, weird spacing, or anything that looks just a little off. If Lincoln's face looks like he's doing a magic trick and appearing twice, you might have something. Third, if it looks promising, don't clean it. Seriously, cleaning a rare coin is like washing an old baseball card in the dishwasher. Just don't. Keep it safe, put it in a holder, and get it graded by a professional. And finally, don't get discouraged if you don't find $1 million penny right away. Coin hunting is part luck, part patience, and part being the kind of person who gets excited over loose change. And hey, that's my kind of people.so the next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," you look him dead in the eye and say, "Tell that to the guy who made $2.8 million from a 1979 D. Lincoln." Seriously, check your change, dig through those jars, raid your junk drawers. You never know what kind of treasure is hiding right under your nose. And if you had a good time hanging out today, learning something new, and laughing at my penny regrets, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm here every week with tips, tricks, and stories to help you find coins worth real money. We're talking quarters, dimes, nickels, and yep, even more pennies. Drop a comment if you've got any cool coin finds, or if you're still kicking yourself like I am over the one that got away. Let's build a community of coin lovers, treasure hunters, and folks who know that sometimes the smallest things are worth the biggest bucks. All right, folks, let me hit you with something that's going to blow your mind and maybe make you flip over your couch cushions right after this video. Imagine finding a penny. Yeah, a single, ordinary, copper-colored Lincoln penny that's worth more than a Lamborghini, a beach house, and a lifetime supply of tacos. Now imagine it's from 1988, and it doesn't even have a mint mark. No letter under the date. Looks boring, right? Wrong. Because that little coin could be worth up to $2.9 million. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the legendary 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So if you've got a change jar that's been collecting dust for the last decade, you might want to stick around. You could be sitting on a gold mine. Well, copper and zinc technically, but you get the point. Today, we're diving into what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one, why collectors are going nuts for it, and I'll even share a personal story that's got a little bit of heartbreak, a little bit of hope, and a whole lot of pennies. So buckle up, grab your magnifying glass, and let's talk about turning pocket change into life change. All right, let's get into it. First off, what's the deal with the 1988 no mint mark penny? So in 1988, the Philadelphia Mint produced Lincoln cents without a mint mark. Totally normal. Philly's been doing that for ages. But here's where it gets spicy. Some of those 1988 pennies were struck with a reverse design that actually belongs to a 1989 penny. That's right, a little minting mishap that flew under the radar for years. And collectors? They are obsessed with this kind of stuff. This error is called the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety. It's a transitional design error. Basically, the mint updated the reverse dies for 1989, but somehow a few of those 1989 style reverse dies made their way into the 1988 production. Oops. And that oops is now worth a fortune. So how do you know if your 1988 penny is the one? Here's the key. Look closely at the letters FG near the Lincoln Memorial. That stands for Frank Gasparo, the guy who designed the reverse. In the standard 1988 penny, the initials are spaced further apart and a bit chunkier. But on the 1989 reverse, they're thinner and closer together. If your 1988 penny has those closer, sleeker FG initials, you might just be looking at a $2.9 million treasure. Now listen, before you start flipping coins like a magician at a birthday party, let me tell you something from personal experience. A couple years ago, I was helping my dad clean out his old shed. I found a Walkman, a mullet wig, and a box of coins he swore he'd get around to sorting in the 90s. So, me being the coin nerd I am, I started going through them. Lots of wheat pennies, a few buffalo nickels, and, you guessed it, a 1988 penny with no mint mark. Now I didn't know about the reverse of 89 back then. I looked at it, thought it cool, and tossed it in a jar with the rest. Fast forward a few months, I see a video like this one we're doing now, talking about the 1988 error penny, and I nearly swallowed my gum. I rushed to the jar like it owed me money. And guess what? It wasn't the rare one. Just a regular OL penny. But man, for about 30 seconds, I was rich. Oh yeah, I didn't strike gold, but now I check every 1988 penny I see. You better believe I go through my change like a detective on a crime show. More info and market value. Now let's talk numbers. These 1988 reverse of 89 pennies don't just go for a few $100. In pristine, mint state condition, especially ones graded by a service like PCGS or NGC, we're talking up to $2.9 million. That's retirement money. That's buy your mama house money. That's I'm quitting my job and collecting coins full-time money. Even lower grade versions can fetch thousands. So this isn't just about the top dollar ones. You might have a slightly worn one that's still worth a lot more than a penny. So what should you do if you think you have one? Step 1. Get a magnifier. You can grab one cheap online. Step 2. Check those FG initials like we talked about. Step 3. If it looks promising, send it to a professional coin grading service. Yeah, it'll cost a little, but if your penny's the real deal, it's more than worth it. And please, don't try to clean it. That's the #1 rookie mistake. Cleaning a coin can ruin its value faster than a toddler with a crayon on a Picasso. Conclusion. So there you have it. The humble little 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that could change your life. It's not flashy. It's not rare because of precious metals. It's rare because someone at the mint had a Monday moment and used the wrong die. It's these little slip-ups that make coin collecting so exciting. You never know what's out there, in your pocket, your drawer, or hiding in that giant coffee can you've been throwing pennies into since college. Before you toss your change into the tip jar or Coinstar machine, take a second. That penny might just be worth millions. Now, if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt and want more stories, tips, and strategies for spotting valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coming, coins worth big bucks, collecting secrets, and maybe even a few more tales of coins I almost cashed in on. And hey, if you've got a coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I love reading them. And who knows, maybe your story will be in the next video. Until then, keep hunting, keep flipping, and never underestimate a penny. Catch you next time. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important.